Hello everybody, it's Gary Hallican here, and today we're looking at the DC Multiverse Steel figure. So I actually pre-ordered this one. I imagine that many people my age got a big nostalgia boost when this figure was announced. We of course remember the Reign of the Supermen comics from back in the day, and there were a lot of cool designs that came out of that. Steel was probably the coolest design that came out of that. He's always been kind of a cool design, but he's unfortunately never gotten very many figures throughout the years. I do have one old one here that I'll talk about a little later on. So it was exciting to get a modern figure of this character. Now on the back we have some artwork of the character that doesn't quite match the figure. That of course is par for the course for the McFarlane toys now. I don't think they've ever really cared too much about that. I think they're more interested in putting iconic art of the character on the packaging, whether or not it exactly matches the figure. Other than that, the packaging is the same DC Multiverse as always. So let's go ahead and get him out and see what we think. Okay, so here is Steel out of the package, and believe it or not, he only had one of those little twist tie type pieces holding him in, so maybe that's a good sign. Maybe those are on their way out. I don't really see the need for them too much. First off, I like that he's kind of huge. We'll see in a little bit, but he's definitely taller than some of the other similar figures, and he just looks big here. Some might argue that the legs are too long, as people argue often with the McFarlane figures. I think he looks pretty good. I think proportionally he looks pretty much like how he was drawn usually. So I think the sculpt is pretty good. I know some people have had issues with the paint on this figure. So he's definitely not chrome, right? You can see my old Steel figure here is a chrome finish. And maybe he would look great with a chrome finish, but I can see what they were going for. They were going for, maybe more of an older, more weathered metal look that had a bit of a patina to it. And that's why you get the look that we get here. I think he does look, suitably metallic. Does look like it's a metal suit, I think. Now, there are these little spots of blue here and there. You can't really see it if you're back a little bit, but if you get up close, you'll see some spots of blue. Like I said, I think they were going for sort of a weathered look, sort of a metal with a patina kind of look to it. So I don't know. I don't think he looks too bad. I think he looks like steel, as it were, like the metal, right? There are some issues, I would say. The logo, I'm not quite thrilled with the paint on the logo here. I think they were going maybe for like a cut from stone look, maybe, on that logo, but I'm not too sure about that. Then the belt and the left gauntlet here has a similar white paint washed over it, the same as on the logo. One issue here is the boots here, I guess you would say, are kind of a different color than the entire rest of the suit. They're more of a plain gray compared to the bluish color of the rest of the suit. This would be okay, I think, if the, gauntlets were the same as that. But I don't know. It doesn't look bad. It looks okay, I think. I'm not upset with this paint job. I've seen some other reviews, where they say, oh, this is a terrible paint job. I think it works here. I think he looks, metallic. And as far as like the long legs go and that kind of thing, he is a guy in an armor suit, right? So for me, I think it looks good. Yes, he could have been chrome, but you never know. That can sometimes look more, more toy-like, right? And less realistic anyway. So I don't know. I think he looks pretty good. I think the sculpt is pretty good. The cape is okay. Looks like it should. I don't mind these plastic capes. Even my old-time Steel figure here has a plastic cape, right? So, I don't know. So, aesthetically, I like him. I think he looks big and imposing, and I think he looks metallic enough. So, let's see for articulation. The head doesn't really move at all. We've got to look down just a little bit. You would think that his head would not be encumbered since he has no hair or hat or anything, but the head is not really moving very much at all. We do get twist, of course, but not much in the way of tilt. I didn't bring the face sculpt in to look at it, but it looks okay. If I get focus on it there. There it is. I think it looks pretty much like he would look most of the times in the comics, right? It is supposed to be a helmet, but it was always a helmet that, you know, conformed exactly to his face. So that's the appropriate look for him. Okay, so the head, like I said, not much at all. Arms can go straight out. So up that far, shoulder pads move out of the way. They can go all the way around. We got forward and back a little bit. I don't know if the shoulders maybe could be a little bit higher. It's just the shoulder pads look up high, so I don't know, that looks okay. We do have bicep swivel and double elbow. He's not going to get full crunch on the double elbow because he's got the big gauntlet on that arm. Let's see on this arm. Here we go, full crunch on that arm, no problem. At the chest, we've got no crunch forward at all. We've got pretty good lean back and no gap in here, so that's good. Doesn't want to lean back forward again, though. There it goes. Looked like it almost got stuck a little bit as I leaned it back that far. We've got side to side just a little bit. Of course, can twist at those joints. No problems with the diaper piece. It doesn't really look bad or out of place at all because, again, this is a suit, you know, armor suit made from various armor plates, so that's okay. Looks fine there. Legs can go about that far forward. Not really back at all. Full splits. Now the knees, these are these weird knees where if you straighten them all the way out, the leg looks truly bizarre, so you're never going to do that. But we've got pretty good bend there. Not as good as some of the other ones. And then at the feet joints are pretty tight. But they'll go up that far and down that far. And he's got a big toe joint here. And see if we get any twist, maybe. Yeah, we can twist there at the foot. Not really any rock back and forth. I didn't show the hands. The hands, of course, swivel, and the hands have vertical hinges. This one can't do much because of the big gauntlet. Vertical hinge on this side. And it doesn't move very far either, but that'll be good for hammer holding. So for articulation, steel is definitely a little more limited than some of the other ones. You know, I recently reviewed all of the Batman and Robin wave, and I would say they're a little more articulated than steel here, other than Mr. Freeze, of course. All right, let's see what he comes with. So he comes, of course, with the card, which is the same artwork as on the back of the box, and with the stand. And then the only accessory that he comes with is the hammer. And so it's pretty big, but it was unfortunately bent out of the box here, which that's what we get with a lot of these new weapons with these modern toys. They're all these rubbery kind of things, so you know, you could straighten it out. Otherwise, though, it looks fine. It's a, you know, big hammer. Looks okay. Painted pretty much the same as the figure himself. Let's see how he does at holding it. I don't expect for it to be an issue. Maybe, though. Yeah, maybe. I have to stretch his hand out a little bit. There we go. All right, so I got it in the hand. Once in the hand, you know, no problem. I think the shoulders maybe are, I don't know, a little bit loose on this one. But there he goes. Once he has the hammer, he has no problem holding that. Again, like I said, the feet joints are a little tight, so they're a little little strange to get in the right spot here for him to stand up. There we go. There's the hammer. All right, so let's do some comparisons next. Okay, so for comparisons, I do first want to compare him with this guy. This is Blast Hammer Steel from the Kenner Superman Man of Steel line. This was, I think, 1996. If you can see it there. 1996. So this is a figure I have had since I was a little kid. This Blast Hammer Steel. And he's awesome, of course. You can see he's all in chrome there with the shield and the cape and everything. But you can see the modern Steel figure, I think, does okay at capturing this character. But you can see it might be cool if he was in chrome here. Also, somewhere I couldn't find it in time for doing this video, but somewhere I do have one of the figures of Shaq as Steel from the old movie. Now, that movie may not be well remembered, and it may not be very good, but it did have a very good toy line. I think the action figures from the Steel movie were pretty good. They all had chrome, and they had a lot of accessories that they came with, so it was a good toy line. Anyway, for modern comparisons, here is Clooney Batman. So you can see how big Steel is here. Steel is definitely taller, right, than Clooney Batman. So he's going to look big and imposing here. Interestingly enough, he's only a little bit taller than Poison Ivy there. So still is a little bit taller than her. If you saw my previous videos, you know she was very tall. Here is Mr. Freeze. So they're about the same size here, right? So Arnold is Mr. Freeze, and Steel, they're about the same height. Steel is a little bit skinnier than him. Here is a Marvel Legends. So here's Marvel Legends Cersei. So she's, of course, in the 6-inch scale, right? Instead of in the 7-inch scale. Here is a typical 12-ounce beverage can. And then, of course, here is John Cena. Okay. So that's the McFarlane DC Universe Steel figure. I was just very excited to get a modern figure of this character. And I like that he's very big. He's big and imposing. And I think it will look cool on a shelf because of that. And holds the hammer well and all of that. I know some people take issue with the paint job. He could be probably more metallic and more chrome. He could definitely be more articulated. He is a little bit weak in that area, but I guess it is a guy in a clunky armor suit, right? So maybe he's not meant to be all that articulated. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, I'm happy to get a modern figure of this character. So let me know in the comments what you think of this one and what you think of the Reign of the Supermen characters and what you think of the Steel movie with Shaq. I think they should put out a figure, a brand new figure of Shaq as Steel. But let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you in the next review.